That's my baby. That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
What up, everybody? Good morning. Kicking it Stateside boys here on A2D Radio. Adam Modick, Brian Wheeler. Another wonderful, this time, no 50-degree day. I feel like every Saturday, I'm always like, it's a beautiful 50-degree day. Hopefully the last one.
Not today.
Today's about 20-something.
Yeah.
Freezing out. Trying to pump my gas. My hand nearly fell off, so... If you're in the West Coast, be lucky that you don't have to deal with these Northeast winters.
Yeah, I'm not.
Terrible.
I'm over them. I'm ready to move.
Same. But yes, welcome in a special Boxing Day episode for us today. I mean, it's one of the greatest days in the soccer calendar with how many games and what's going on. It's just that time of the schedule. We already have games this morning. We'll talk about. We got a game going on now. Obviously, we got the big Chelsea-Arsenal game coming up at 12:30. And then we're rolling right back into it on Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, nonstop action. We talk about it. For us, it's great. For some of these guys, they're probably just absolutely exhausted. But, it is what it is. That's why they get paid the big bucks to do it. And we get to sit in these nice warm houses and talk about them.
Doesn't get any much better than that.
Yes, sir.
From a fan's perspective, it's fantastic. Players, I'm sure, like, why do we do this every year? Over and over again. But, so it should be a good time. I mean, I kind of thought we would do something a little different today. I mean, obviously, we're still going to talk about the games that are going to be going on today and tomorrow. But since there's so many games going on, it feels like it doesn't even make sense to really talk about the games that already happened during last weekend in the midweek. So,
yeah, I mean, we at some point, if we're discussing something in relation to them, they may come up. But like you said, there's no need to sit there and try to run down 1,000,001 different games that happened throughout like a 5-day span. So.
Yeah, because that gets confusing for everybody.
Yeah, obviously there's some takeaways from those games that we're going to have and stuff we can talk about from them and the state of some teams right now, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're almost at the halfway point here in the season, which is crazy that it's just flying by so fast.
Yeah, well, with 2 a week now, too, it does. Like, we were just talking about being at the third way of the season, and quickly it's approaching that halfway within the next week or so with playing 2 a week right now.
Yeah, and again, I'm not complaining personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, today probably do something a little different. Yes, I kind of have some topics that we can talk about and, get some good feedback from everybody out there. And then if anybody wants to jump on with us, kind of make this like fan forum type, topic, little segment, part of the show. It kind of worked last week. We had Lord Walker on if you missed us, an OG fan. He's very knowledgeable. He's worked with, U.S. soccer program and whatnot, so he knows his shit. I think he's going to try and come on today as well, and we're opening up to everybody else. So,
yeah, we'll send you the link if you want. Just comment, and you can hop on and chat with us. Kick it with us.
Yeah, please, please, please. And again, some of the topics, it could be anything. If there's something that, you've been thinking about throughout the week, you want to talk about it, we'll gladly bring it up and have an open discussion about it. I know some of the things I thought we could do, the Messi breaking Pele's single club goal record this past week. Obviously, as always, when Messi's brought up, people tend to start flocking to the show because that's,
everybody wants to talk Messi.
Yeah, everyone wants to talk potential GOAT status for that guy. Obviously, other stuff that was in some of the headlines this week, not good. The Kiran Trippier betting thing was a very interesting story. What else? I guess Gio Reyna, America's own, won the Young Player of the Year for the U.S. team. Probably any thoughts on that? What the future has in store for this guy? We'll discuss that a little bit. See, Brian's got the U.S. jersey ready to rock.
Nameless. I went nameless.
Because you just don't know.
For a reason. Because that's where we need to be at this point. It's got to be the best 11, the best 18. And we're working on that like we talk about week in and week out, and we're figuring that out. And it's looking very promising.
Yeah.
It's been a few weeks now where we've really been discussing it, and I'm sure we will more today too. But it's definitely a promising part. And when I was deciding which one I wanted for Christmas, obviously Arsenal and Red Bull just aren't making that list right now. So I thought hard, and I really love the style of this jersey. You can't really see it too well on there, but this is the best one I think they've put out for the U.S. team in quite some time. The few recent ones were a little but I'm a big fan of this one. So
yeah, I love it. That's a good call on the U.S.
Thanks,
jersey.
Mom. Thanks, Mom.
Mom coming in for the win.
Come through for the W, the Christmas win.
But yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about that U.S. team last week, so I felt like that's another good topic that's always interesting, and it just gets everybody's spirits up because the future is so bright, obviously, with so many young kids going over to Europe and making some serious impact.
Those are great Christmas references right there. Just merry and bright.
I'm trying, man.
I love it.
I'm trying. It's for the year it's been. You try. Everybody's trying to be in the Christmas spirit, even though it didn't exactly feel. It was probably the less Christmassy feeling Christmas probably ever.
You know what, though? We talked about it, and there were some positives to take away from it, too. There was some nice parts about just kind of being a little bit more low-key and taking that stress of trying to worry about doing 1,000,001 things and rushing around and kind of not really getting to enjoy the time sometimes. So
I know.
So you got to make the best out of every situation.
Always do, man. We always do.
Yeah, Boxing Day puns. That's right, Patrick. Adam and I are full of just great puns, and
I didn't even mean to do that. It just started flowing.
He didn't. I just happened to pick it up. He was flowing, and it worked out great.
See, I'm just in the Christmas spirit. It's a good day. It's Boxing Day. It's the day after Christmas.
Boxing. For years and years, I've never had the advantage of being off Boxing Day, and a lot of people still don't. Just Christmas happened to fall on a Friday, so it was great to have Boxing Day off to do this show live on a Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Watch some soccer.
There's nothing better. I mean, people are probably slow to get up this morning because you probably went a little too hard for those of us that drink. I actually feel bright. I was very mindful
well-behaved.
What I consumed last night. So
good,
I'm feeling good.
I'm proud of you.
Good. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, also good morning to everybody. Thanks for checking in, all the fam. I see Tommy and Greg, Steve, Patrick. What's going on? Greg says he agrees. So that's a good segue. Obviously, Sonny, we've been talking about him probably every week so far. Do you agree that Sonny's been the MVP thus far? Agree or disagree?
You know what pains me?
That you're going to say yes.
No. What pains me even worse is I'm going to say no, and the person that I would give it to is his running mate and somebody that I hate even more than him. And that's my dilemma right now. That's where I'm at in the state of Premier League soccer.
Oh, you think it's either HK or Sonny?
Yeah, I'm going HK. That's why I'm going to disagree to the poll. Sonny's been phenomenal, but in, just looking statistically, the assist and goal combination that AK is providing or HK is providing right now, I don't know. And I know Sonny's been finishing him for him, but he's just doing so much for me that it's hard for me not to, and it's just so awful that I have to even have this conversation right now.
Mm-hmm. I know it's probably paining you to try and it's like a lesson.
Like that's where we're at. I mean, this is what we should be talking about at this juncture in the season. It makes sense for for the show, but for me to have to discuss them two being two of the top 5 players in the league right now, I guess the only positive thing is they've fallen down to 6th in the table as we stand this morning, due to a couple L's here. So, but yeah, I mean, they're both these guys are looking really good right now.
HK, yes, the Heartbreak Kid.
HK, HBK.
Yes,
everybody.
I have to specify now that HK, Harry Kane, not Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. Even though that would be pretty awesome if Shawn Michaels was the MVP in the Premier League.
I mean, if he could connect on the ball with sweet chin music,
can you imagine that?
Game over. Game over.
He just sweet chin music's the volley in the net.
Yeah, time after time.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah, we could cross here. We could cross here with, we do have 2 wrestling shows on this network, so
it's been done.
It's been done.
Patrick chiming in. Bruno Fernandes, which is probably, I would say he's probably in that conversation of MVP. If it was relying on penalties, then yes.
Yeah.
Sweet chin music in the leather chaps. Yeah, man. With those red lenses glasses. Whew, heads up.
Again, I my stance on PKs, and obviously somebody's got to take them, and they're not easy, and there's a lot of pressure and all that. But when it comes to like golden boot races and things like that, I still don't agree that they necessarily need to be included. And that's why like Vardy and Bruno always take a little hit in my rankings because of how many penalties they do usually end up with. So,
yeah, I mean, even though I would have to say Bruno would definitely be in the conversation, at least top 5, I would say. Just because ever since he came into that United team, like he's provided a jolt of energy. Because before he came last year, United was just like this meh team. And once he was inserted into that lineup, it was like right away just changed that whole dynamic of the team.
Oh, yeah, I felt like he almost had an opportunity to win Player of the Year last year in the Prem, and that was with only, less than half of a season.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, he's been phenomenal for them, and it's weird because as ugly as it seems for them at points and obvious getting knocked out of Champions League, they are sitting 3rd in the table. So, I mean, they're doing something right at this point. Way more than my squad, so I can't really knock what's going on there. And he is the number 1 reason for that success, I would say.
Agreed. I mean, I guess you could probably throw in like Jamie Vardy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
MVP.
how can you forget? Salah's got 13 goals.
Yeah.
Like, who? I saw that the other day, and I'm like, when? Like, I had to really go back and start looking through this season to remember. Like, he's done it so quietly.
Well, he gets
it's ridiculous.
He has games where he scores like 3.
Yeah, he gets them in clips. We talked about that a lot last year when we were getting down to the Golden Boot, and guys like Aguero and him that can just score 2, 3 a game when they get on their hot streaks, and they make up ground big time. So,
yeah,
and that another crazy thing is that we're not even like there's not even as good as Danny Ings has been. Southampton's sitting in 7th, and we don't have like one guy on that team that's in this talk. Like that's an accumulative. That's a team effort. And I think that'll go towards when we start maybe talking about coach of the year.
Yeah.
In this, who's going to be in the running for that? Because Danny Ings only has 6 goals. And Southampton has, 25? So they're doing it all over the pitch. And they're doing it defensively. We're watching this game. I got this game on this morning right in front of us because it's on Peacock. I feel like Fulham's been screwed. Your shirt is perfect. If anybody hasn't seen Adam's shirt yet, 100%. That's where we all stand at this point. I think there was an opportunity for a handball to be called that never was even looked at for Fulham. So it's so crazy because I don't necessarily, as a soccer fan, think it was probably a handball because of just actions, but the way things have been done with VAR and these crazy ass go backs and looks and changes of calls for that not to have happened in this game is just another, black flag on this whole VAR shit.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible, honestly. I mean, again, my shirt says it all. I don't really have to say anything more than that. But yeah,
Man, a few words.
Yeah, it's literally very subtle. Not really.
Yeah.
It sends a message, but it's in short 2 words, sends a big message.
Yeah.
Brett wants to know, where do you think Paul Pogba is going to end up? I always said he's going to go back. I mean, Juve, I think, would be a nice fit for him to go back
Juve
there.
would be a great fit for him. PSG, now that Poch is taken over?
I could see him taking that paycheck and winning titles.
And going home to France and being comfortable and, talk about a guy that we could tell likes to be comfortable.
That's why he plays really well for France. And sometimes, at United, he just doesn't seem half the time very interested. At least Juve, he was he's comfortable with kind of that slow pace. He could do he's probably better than a lot of those guys. And then he comes to the Prem, which is more of a physical league, a little quicker than the Serie A in Italy. But I don't know. It's just a guy. He's one of those divas where if he wants to play, he'll play great. If he doesn't, it's not going to be good. And he's not going to put forth, and he's not going to be that world-class player that we all know that he can be. I mean,
the capabilities there, the talent's there. It just hasn't translated too much on the pitch for Manchester, at least. We talked about Bruno when he first arrived. It seemed like that woke Pogba up a little bit.
Yeah, they had a great little partnership.
And that's kind of gone away now too. So I don't know. I would be interested to see. It's just weird because they did that 2-year extension. So I know that doesn't change, it doesn't affect their ability to move on from him.
Right.
But it's just weird that they would even do so. I guess that gives them, it puts the cards in their hands, and it gives them now an opportunity to receive something in return, as opposed to it getting too far and him walking away for nothing. I guess that's the only sense behind it.
Thank you, Jake. Wonderful holidays. Hope you have the same.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Boxing Day.
I forgot to say that. Merry Christmas to everybody out there, and happy holidays wherever you're spending it with us.
Happy New Year for those. We won't be on before New Year, right? I don't believe.
No.
I don't even know what day New Year's is this year.
I think it'll be next Thursday is New Year's Eve.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll be on right after.
So this is our last show of 2020.
Yeah, I think I'm going to hop on. Tom wants to do like a A2D fam New Year's Eve thing. As of now, this bachelor has no plans. So I will happily hop on the New Year's Eve A2D fam show.
I'll go hop on before the good stuff starts happening. What else we got today? But yeah, we're trying to do this again. If you missed the beginning, we're doing things a little different. Try to get some of the fans, you guys, on the show. If you want to hop on, we'll send you the link. You don't even have to show your face. You could just have the audio. Or if you want to pose any questions to us, any topics you want talked about, whatever's on your mind, we're here for you. Like we always say, giving the people what they want. And today's the perfect day. It's Boxing Day.
Cue the OJs.
If we had the rights, I don't know.
I'm still working on that.
We got.
I know Tom.
Still living.
I know Tom doesn't want that email saying we're being billed because we played 9 seconds of the OJs on air.
Copyright infringement over here.
But if I can make sure that that's not going to be an issue at some point, we'll get that sound drop on here. So
that'd be great, like little intro song to the show.
Yeah, I mean, if honestly, if the OJs were smart, any of the remaining members that are still living, they'd be happy just for some relevancy.
Yeah. I mean, you hear that bass line drop, you're just like, boom, boom, boom. You just know shit's about to get down.
You know what? I do seem to hear that song on a lot of like overhead PAs in stores. So I'm thinking maybe those are the songs that don't have copyright, so they can play them. So we'll find out. I'll do a little digging.
It's a good research project for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess before we get rolling, give a little shout out to the sponsors. I feel like last week I missed it, but they already know we love them.
It may have happened.
It may have slipped my mind, but
that's because Lord Walker snuck in early on us.
Oh, he did, which is fine, but
absolutely,
I was too distracted. But yes, today, obviously, show brought to you by the MBuck Services guys, the best deck gutter experts out there in South Jersey. I mean, now is the time, especially it's getting, it's 20 degrees outside here. And your bushes are probably, with all that snow we had too.
Yeah.
Looking a little rough, maybe.
Maybe you got your Christmas bonus and you want to, start getting the idea for a new deck come springtime.
That's a great idea.
Deposit down, give them a call. Hopefully you didn't get Clark Griswolded and get a Jelly of the Month card and you actually got your bonus.
Griswold.
But these are the guys to call. If you did, why not start off 2021?
If you did, you're a smart man
or a nice new deck. Absolutely.
But yeah, you could reach them, ambuckservices.com, or give them a call, 856-879-5530. The other one, the good doc, Paul Vidal, at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. This is the time. If you're slipping on that black ice outside, you get your shoulder crushed, you need a little rehab work, you got to visit the good doc.
Yeah, just out shoveling that mess that we had, a week or so ago. It's all gone now. No one would even know.
Hurt the old rotator cuff out there.
Lower back here.
Any winter injuries?
Yes, sir.
He'll take a look at it. And obviously, if you're not comfortable going into the office, one of the 3 locations, you could do a virtual consultation. He'll take a look at it and see what he can do for you. He's the best. He's jumped on a few shows. I've seen him. He's very knowledgeable with sports, and he's the best PT out there. So check him out. Again, 3 locations: Burlington, Cherry Hill, and
the beautiful Princeton, New Jersey.
There you go. All right. So we already had a game finished this morning. We had Leicester and Man United, which was a fantastic game. A great game to start out the Boxing Day slate. 2-2 draw. Of course, you get Bruno Fernandes, like we mentioned, and Jamie Vardy getting goals. A Harvey Barnes sighting. Haven't heard much of his name this year.
It's been quiet.
Who else was the other goal by for United? Oh, Marcus Rashford got the game started.
Yeah, he got it going in the 23rd. So,
but I'm just seeing this on ESPN. They actually gave that Jamie Vardy an own goal.
Yeah, I see that now. They took it away from Vardy and they made it an own goal.
Axel Tanzue gets credited with the own goal, so no goal for Jamie Vardy, unfortunately.
I think he'll take it regardless.
I think that's the best case scenario for both teams because it doesn't hurt either one. You get a point out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure United would have liked to have held on to that one because I would have bumped them up to second. But, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, absolutely. Best case scenario for both teams. But with a lead, giving it up late like that, unfortunately for them, keeps them out of second, and they're still sitting in third. They do have a game in hand, though, on most teams because them and their buddy City were gifted the first week off of the season because they were tired.
Of course.
So
grease in the pockets, you know?
Yeah. So, but for the most part, they've actually been playing well. Eddie, welcome,
Eddie's
brother.
late.
That's all right. Better late than never. Bro, if you can and you want to jump on, we've been talking about it. Just send me a message or send Adam a message and we can send you the link.
Forum for all the OGs like Eddie. Even if you have a good topic you want to talk about, Eddie. Anything
or just
on your
throw
mind.
it up in throw it up in the comments and either or, whether you want to be on or just give us some stuff to go off of.
It's the last episode of 2020, and we want to give back to you guys.
It's all about the people. Giving back to the people.
So this isn't our show. It's the fan show. Whatever you guys want to talk about then for that last hour of the show, we will be glad to dive into any topics you have. So Eddie, anybody out there, if you got anything on your mind, let us know.
Well, while we're still talking about United, I don't know. I find it comical that Ole came out and said that they must ignore title talk. I think he said that because he doesn't want that kind of pressure on himself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Like, why
you
would
gotta
you
say the right? You gotta say the right things as a manager in the media.
I know, but you're 4 points behind Liverpool with a game in hand. So ultimately, you get that win, and I think that makeup game was not a very hard team, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was maybe Burnley or one of them. City had Burnley. It was somebody else that they would have had. But like, you're right in the driver's seat. You're right in position at this point to make a run at the title. And that's even with, Paul Pogba not giving you anything. So I don't know. I feel like he's doing it not for his players, but for himself. I feel like he can't handle the pressure, and he's kind of trying to ease it up off his own shoulders.
I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, there's going to be automatic pressure if you're the manager of some of these big clubs. Like United is probably the most pressure, I would say. Such a historic club and so many, good good years under Sir Alex, and now isn't exactly the best time with all these games in the past, since the restart. They just had a freaking the League Cup game, which we can talk about later, and he's still throwing out, half of the starters.
Yeah, well,
he don't give a shit. He just wants to win a trophy, because if he wins a trophy, he'll save face probably.
The man's fighting for his job, definitely. But I mean, he you could tell he's fighting for the club. He wants success. He wants to win.
Yeah,
it's just the
I don't
matter
know if
of
fans are backing him that much.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't read the tea leaves on United. You know what?
Here,
that's a harsh reality to face. I don't think he's deserved a sacking, but no, it should be the other way around.
Sooner or later, Arsenal is going to win a game, and it's going to be in upset fashion because honestly, there's 14 other teams right now that if they beat it is an upset. It is, exactly. Every team is an upset for Arsenal at this point. So sooner or later, it is going to happen. Why not let it happen on Boxing Day?
Well, I mean, it'd be very Chelsea to lose this game today. Very, very Chelsea-like. But no, I think it should be the opposite. Arteta's string is a lot thinner than Lampard. Not that Lampard has a lot of. I've seen some of the Chelsea forums and fan pages, and they are not happy about Lamps. The one glaring thing was he's playing everybody out of position.
Yeah,
and that's something that the Chelsea fans are not very happy about.
Well, he just came out now and said how the festive schedule was unfair too. So now he's in the.
Everybody's in the.
Yep.
Everybody's going through the same thing, though.
You know why everybody's in that? They're in that when they're not having success. When they're not, when things are getting a little rocky, they're like, yeah, schedule is too much right now. Can't handle it.
And we saw that with Jurgen Klopp.
And then as soon as you win a couple in a row, it gets quiet. So
you hang a 7 burger on Palace, and then you're like, it's fine. We were prepared. We were rested. We were
next thing you know, you're all plus 17 goal differential. Yeah, out of nowhere.
I get it. So, everyone, when it's happening to you, you're going to complain about the schedule is, when the results aren't going in your way. It's like, no, you just don't know how to close out games.
And Arteta's already set himself up for this game because he came out and said, Chelsea is the Prem's strongest squad. So now no matter what the result is, if he beats them, now all will be forgotten because he just beat the strongest squad in the Prem. And if we lose, he's just going to be like, hey, they're the best team in the league. So, these guys know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, just like we know what we're doing when we want to try to push a certain thought or idea.
Like PhillyDrinkers.com/A2D radio for 20% off.
Yes, sir. Get your gear.
I got all my family for Christmas Kickin' at Stateside shirts.
Nice.
So now they're part of the Kickin' crew.
And now you can get all the new subsidiaries of A2D, all the different Los Angeles and New York, good old New York, which Tom's giving me a little bit of love.
The A2D New York.
Let me get some of my New York teams going here, and we're picking up all kinds of different areas of the country, all the big sports areas. So great things coming here for A2D as well. And Philly Drinkers will have that gear coming, or may already have it, I believe. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Brett said, U.S. men's national team, lots of good young players at big clubs. Yeah, man. We'll definitely get into that here in a little bit. Little section on the plethora, big word, of how many good young players that the U.S. has now in Europe. But Yeah.
Eric finally. Nobody wants to say anything. Eric doesn't want to say hello this whole time until we start mentioning New York and LA. Then it wakes him up. Well, thank you. We're glad you're here. We love you. I know.
Does he just follow you? Does he follow you and troll you and all the other ones too?
No, we're cool. Like I got no beef with him. I know. I respect. I get what he's saying. I could say the same thing about a blue and red team in your city that my orange and blue team are playing today, and we're probably going to get spanked, but I'm going to blow up A2D New York's
he is.
social medias if we beat the Sixers today. That's all I'm going to say.
The Troll King's going to come back out.
I'll be out hard today if the Knicks beat the Sixers.
What's up, Mark?
Just like if Arsenal beats Chelsea, I'm going to troll you all afternoon.
That's fair, and that would be deserved.
Yes, and Eddie. Eddie's not missing that boat either. And Julio. All of you.
That's fine.
I love all of you equally.
We're big boys. We can take the shit talking. But yes, a nice Premier League Saturday doesn't get any better, especially today.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Villa got a nice lead at halftime here, 1-0. But they are going to be in a little bit of trouble to hold that because Tyrone Mings gets a red in the 45th minute right before the half. Honestly, I don't know why. I haven't seen what that was for, but that's going to be hard for them to hold a man down against Palace, who we would have thought would be coming out a little pumped up after just getting smacked 7-0. So
yeah, I was looking a little shaky after Villa scored within like the first 3 minutes. I'm like, oh geez, are they going to give up another like 7-burger here?
Yeah, Bertrand Traore gets another one for Villa. So Villa's just finding scoring everywhere. It's not just one guy doing everything.
Former Chelsea lad, Bertrand Traore.
So second yellow. It was a 2-yellow red card for a bad foul. That's all it says here.
For Tyrone.
Who'd he foul? Zaha. He tried to kill Zaha.
Tried to kill Zaha.
He tried to kill Zaha.
I mean, sometimes I would probably want to kill him too.
Yeah, I think Palace fans have wanted to more often than not. So
that's facts. Yeah, we're just getting going in that Villa second half. We'll see if Villa can hold on, being down a man. Also in that other game, we're just getting rocking and rolling in the second half. It's still 0-0 between Fulham and Southampton.
Yeah, I got that one going on right in front of me, which is nice. Good old Peacock. Not able to can't get the Villa game streaming here, but
the cock
looks like Mark's watching that one, so he can give us the live look-ins if he wants to let us know as things are going. He said Traore could have had one or two more, so
he's a good player.
He is. That team, I mean,
they
can't take anything away from that team. That team is good. Again, they're not as hot as they were from the start, but they're another team that has some games in hand. They were one of the ones that did not play. So they've only played 12. Mm-hmm. This is their 13th game today, so they will have 2 games in hand at the end of today, and they're still in the top 10, still playing well. Grealish has been phenomenal. Emi Martinez has gone back and forth, but he's still looking like a nice signing. So
yeah,
Villa's relevant again.
It's one of those you're not sure what Villa team's going to show up. They've gone into that category where you don't know what you're going to get. You're either going to get a clean sheet and Emmy's standing on his head, or you're going to get a game where they just are a total mess. Yeah.
It's crazy, though. Like, you and I talk about all the time, like, how this league is better with certain teams in it. And I feel like Villa is such a historical mainstay that, like, it's nice to see them in it and somewhat competitive again. And people forget there's a lot of talks, and it's coming up, obviously, that, Arsenal should be relegated. They deserve to be relegated. And me as an Arsenal fan, and a lot of Arsenal fans are sitting here saying Arsenal will never get relegated. Arsenal will never get relegated. But a lot of people forget Leeds at one point, 17 years ago or 18 years ago, people said the same thing about Leeds, that Leeds would never get relegated. Leeds is, one of the greatest teams in English soccer history. And they get relegated. Not only do they get relegated, but they disappear for 16 years.
Yeah.
You always say that. Like, you go down and there's no guarantee you're coming back up. You're lucky if you don't do a double dip sometimes because of how bad it hurts. So, like, Arsenal needs to be really careful. Like, it's getting to a point in the season now where it's no longer becoming a comical thing.
It's not funny anymore. It's a realistic thing that could happen.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, it's getting really scary now because you're losing a game to Burnley 1-0, as bad as Burnley's been this year. Like,
that was bad.
These are things that just
that was almost rock bottom. Not quite, but again, we say this all the time. This is why it's one of the better. That's why soccer is great, especially in Europe and in this league, is because every game matters. If you get relegated, you don't know when you're going to come back up. Like you said, it might be Leeds, like 16 years. They probably thought they were going to be back next season.
Oh, yeah, they definitely did. Oh, it's all right. We'll fix it. We'll be back.
Like, that's 16 why
16 years later,
Ask Wolves how that went. They got relegated, and then they did the double. They were in League One not too long ago.
There goes Brett Sunderland. I mean, everybody.
Brett's on a game this morning.
If you guys have not watched
anything
about Sunderland, it's at your fingertips. I believe it's still on Netflix.
Dude, that Netflix, Sunderland Till I Die, is fantastic.
Things like that will make you a soccer fan. Guys are always asking, Tom, guys like that. You want a good documentary? You want a good sports story? You want to see where, it doesn't always end in a positive outcome? Watch Sunderland Till I Die. Because there's still not a positive outcome to that story.
No, they did the double and they're still in League One. Exactly what we're talking about. But I mean, honestly, if you're a Philly fan, like the Eagles and anybody, like Sunderland Till I Die on Netflix, you'd be a Sunderland fan. Like, I had a little piece in my heart that was like, oh my God. Like, Sunderland is a lot like Philly, like very blue collar, hardworking. They live and die by Sunderland, kind of like we do with our silly team. They just bleed red, and they look forward to every Saturday or Sunday that they're playing. And it's like a huge, when they lose, the whole city's like,
it's done. Yeah,
it's over. And then when they're winning, it's like, yes, fantastic. And the SOB one. That's a good one, too. I have that on DVD, Eric.
Yeah, that one took 10 years to have a positive outcome, and it still wasn't that positive in the end of the days, unfortunately. So it was a step in the right direction, definitely.
All I'm going to say with that is I have the utmost faith in Ernst Tanner, our sporting director, because every move he's made so far has been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, you win the Shield, which is a great accomplishment, but I mean, and they got a shit end of the stick, though. Drawing New England, a team you played 5 times in the restart, in bubble, and then you draw them in the first round. You play a team 10 times, you're probably going to lose at least one of those games. And it was just the same thing. You play a team for that.
They picked the wrong one to lose.
That 6th time, they just happened to beat them. So, I mean,
yeah,
It's shitty, but it is what it is.
I mean, I legit don't think anybody was beating Columbus, though. So, I mean, at the end of the day,
I mean, the better two teams were in the finals, but
yeah, Columbus was just an absolute. They were on a run, and they got only better because now they just signed Bradley to be their number 2 striker. So
the old BWP.
Yeah, my guy going to another team, not named Red Bull.
Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, Mark, having New England getting healthy at the right time definitely helped as well. Gustavo Bo and Carlos Hill are 2 pretty dynamic players. So that was another factor.
Every team in the league should take notes about, maybe spending a little bit of money with that Gustavo Bo signing, because that was a phenomenal signing, taking him out of Club Tijuana and bringing him here, because that guy, he just scores. It's what he does. He did it down there, and he's doing it here. So, yeah,
it was just a bad draw. It was very 2020, just getting the shit end of the stick. But I agree, Eric. If they would have gotten through that, I think they would have been in a really good position. But they didn't play for 2.5 weeks, and they came in cold. And New England came in confident, playing a couple days beforehand, and the rest is history. Yeah. I mean, you can't go back on it. It sucks, and I was just getting over this loss too, and you're just bringing up bad memories.
It's the last show of 2020. We got to get it all out there.
That's true. Reminisce of this past year. What was the good and bad? That was the bad.
Yeah, that was the bad. It was the good, and then it ended in the bad.
It was very good, and then it was bad.
It was a great run. Great run.
Positive for the U. I'm happy. Thanks for bringing that up. See, this is what I'm talking about. That's a good topic to speak on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, what do we got? Obviously, Arsenal, Chelsea's later on. We already know kind of our thoughts on that game, per se, between the two of us. It's a must-win for Arsenal. And Chelsea would be, I think, Frankie Lamps is going to be a little bit on the those coals are starting to heat up if he loses this game. That's all I'm saying.
I don't even want to do it. I don't want to. I had some hopes that it was going to be the Everton game last week. Like, that's where it was like, all right, it's been horrible. It's been bad. Everton's not been playing that great. Now it's time to fix it. It's time to fix it. It's time to fix it. It's still not fixed. It's still very broken. I'm hoping this is the week. It's not the right team to do it against. Maybe it is.
Maybe.
This is so typical. This is so typical of Chelsea Arsenal. Like, I don't know. I'm going to keep quiet about it because I don't know what else to say. I mean, there's nothing Arsenal has done to make me feel like positive, to make me feel happy, to make me
got
feel
a shot.
Yeah, like there's no direction still. Again, I'm not blaming Arteta. I'm going back to last week's show. I'm still on that. And there was stuff coming out in the media, huge now, where I think they're finally starting to take some of this heat off Arteta, and they're really starting to focus it on Stan Kroenke and that family, and figuring out a way to get them out of ownership of this team, because they are killing this club. They're killing this club, and they're putting this club on the brink of really, really bad things. And it needs to change, and I think it has to start there. I know this Nigerian guy, billionaire, is been talking and basically saying he wants to buy Arsenal, and I think UEFA, somebody needs to step in and basically force Kroenke out of here and let this guy buy the team if that's what he wants to do.
I think that's a lot of blame the Arsenal fans, I think, are throwing on, is that you have like an absent owner. of Stan Kroenke, who just kind of like chills in the U.S. and he has does he own the Denver?
He owns the
team?
Rams.
Oh, Rams. He's
He
the
owns,
LA
he
guy.
owns the Rams, but then he owns the Avalanche.
Oh, he does own the Nuggets too, right?
I believe he owns the Rapids. But see, you're only
He threw that $1
US
billion into that new LA stadium.
Yeah, it's all him. It's all him though. Like so his wife, I think, technically owns the Avalanche and the Rapids because you can't own certain leagues. You can't own teams in major sports in other cities. So he has them split throughout the family. Basically, his son is technically the owner of Arsenal, I guess. Yeah, Rams, Nuggets, Avs, Rapids, and Arsenal. Thanks, Eddie.
Well, isn't his son basically in charge of Arsenal at this point? Like he has more of the control than Stan does?
Yeah, and you know what they've done? They've taken the brand of Arsenal and they've basically just, like, for lack of a better word, they've whored out the brand of Arsenal. And
Right.
they knew that the brand of Arsenal is going to sell. Arsenal fans, supporters are going to show up when you're allowed. They're going to buy merchandise. They're going to always support Arsenal because that's what this sport is.
The Big Daddy Club. It's the money club.
Yeah, and you're a supporter for life. So they said, okay, we're going to get all that money, but we're not going to put it back into the team and get a winning product. We're going to put it in our pockets, and we're going to use it to go fund brand new stadiums in Los Angeles and go fund our other, sports teams in the U.S. And that's the problem. There's no love of the game like, another owner may have. And I feel like somebody needs to do something.
He just bought Arsenal to buy it and say that's a big flex on me.
Yeah, to make money. Just to bring money in and not worry about anything else.
Sad.
Yeah. And I don't know what else it's going to take. You almost, as an Arsenal, like, it's disgusting to say, but, like, would relegation be what forced him to, like, would he then realize how much money he just lost when they do get relegated, and then he would be forced to sell them? And then new ownership? But, like, we can't get to that point. We can't. It can't get that far to get him out of here.
You can't get to that rebuild.
No.
Where you're selling off all your best players because you just can't afford them while you're in the championship.
I'm okay. Like, if somebody wants to come calling for Aubameyang right now, I'm okay.
I was saying, you think Aubameyang's going to want to play in the championship? Hell no.
No. But
I'm
okay.
You're not getting relegated. It's not going to get that bad.
I know. I keep saying that.
It's not going to get that bad.
17 years ago, Leeds fans kept saying that.
Step off the ledge. It's not going to happen. You'll be fine.
They're ahead of Burnley by 1 point, and Burnley has a game in hand on them.
It can't get that bad.
It is that bad.
No, that bad would be
we're already there. We're already there.
The bad would be sitting in like the last position, basically staring relegation in the face, like with 2 weeks left in the season, where you're like, well, this is it. I'm done. The Arsenal of old is completely destroyed as a club like that goes down to the championship and has to sell off like Leno, Aubameyang, probably Pepe, because he's not going to be able to afford him. Again, you don't want to get to that point. That's bad.
You got a 4-point lead on Fulham.
Exactly what Eddie said. They can't. They just can't. Because then
I know they...
But that's going to be Stan's be like, well, I don't want to be in charge of this shit mess.
He is. He's the reason they're a shit mess.
And
it clearly wasn't Arsene. It clearly wasn't Emery. It clearly wasn't Freddie. And it's clearly not.
It sounds
Arteta.
like a team I know in our own city.
Yeah. This is becoming an ownership problem. It's not even directors of football. It's
they say it starts at the top. It's very goddamn true.
Yeah.
Because
this is
Arsenal have the most expensive tickets in the league. Like, he's getting money. People are going to show up, like you said.
That's what I'm saying. He's taken that for granted. He's taken the fact that,
no pun intended.
These guys are loyal. That these guys are 100% loyal as fans, as supporters in that, of this sport, of that team. Sooner or later, though, it's gonna, they're still gonna be loyal to, but there's gonna be a breaking point, and I think a lot of fans are already at that breaking point.
It's getting there.
Yeah,
but it's starting to get a little. I think a couple more losses in a row, then it starts to really get a little dicey.
Yeah. Do you see that schedule?
The Arsenal schedule?
Yeah. They have you guys, obviously, today.
Yep.
And then here's their chance. Brighton.
That's winning.
West Brom.
That's winnable.
Newcastle.
That's also winnable.
Oh, that's an FA Cup game. I'm sorry. Take that one out. So Palace.
That's winnable.
Then Newcastle. So there it is again.
That's winnable games.
That's 3, 6, 9. That's 12 points.
I think.
What do you realistically, as an outside looking in right now, looking at that team before they play this game today, what do you think they deserve out of those 12 points?
What do they deserve? Well, they should be Brighton, but I mean, you talk about hitting rock bottom. That might be the rock bottom game right there, just right off the bat. If you lose today and lose to Brighton, that might be one of those games where it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Where do you turn from this? How do you get back? How do you get back on track if you can't even beat a shit side like that?
That's how I'm at. But you had Burnley at home, and you lose 1-0 to Burnley.
Score alert.
Villa doing it with a man down, huh?
Score alert. Score alert, score alert.
House.
We got a Villa score here.
Bet your house.
Oh, the big guy in the back. Nice. Hey, if I get a clean sheet, my fantasy team will be happy. Talk about someone that's hot. 3 in a row, motherfucker.
Yeah, you're climbing, and I fell down the table a little bit. I told you, you're not getting relegated to our League 2 this year. Don't worry.
I'm not doing the double dip like Sunderland.
No.
But yeah, Villa 2-0 down a man, mind you, and Palace just continues to be good old Palace.
Yeah. Struggles continue.
It's so sad. Like, DC Palace fans were like one of our first like true like dudes that like followed us and fucked with us and
on Twitter, and
I just feel bad for him. I
do. And they're still 4 points better than Arsenal, so
yeah. Honestly, that 7-0 loss might be a real kick in the dick for them. Because Mark just said they look pretty lifeless, and from what I saw, a little bit that I got to watch, they didn't look very good. You give a goal that early. After a game, you give up 7. 7.
Yeah.
7 goals in a soccer game is unheard of.
And they had been playing pretty well. I mean, they were staying steady around that top 10 spot. They had a positive goal differential, which is now negative. They're now in the red after that 7-goal performance.
That's going to hurt you.
So, yeah, like it's crazy how quickly it can turn.
That's the beauty of this league. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Still 0-0 in that Southampton-Fulham game.
Yeah.
71st minute.
It's been pretty chippy the entire time I've been watching it so far.
Fulham needs a jolt of life.
It's very high pace. Weather seems to be a bit of an issue. Looks super wet right now. Guys are sliding all over the place.
Very wet.
Looks like a fun Boxing Day. Nice, cold, wet.
On a rainy day in London.
Oh yeah. At the cottage.
Yeah. That's fun. That was a fun little. That's an old fun stadium.
Yeah, it looks sad, so empty.
Yeah, they're actually doing some renovations, I saw. I mean, it needs it. I don't even know. I think it's like the cottage was built in like 18 something. And they still have some of the wooden seats like on the one side.
That's awesome.
What else we got? Oh, we got Man City and Newcastle coming up later today at 3. And then Sheffield will host the Toffees at the same time. Nothing too crazy with the afternoon games. You would expect City and Everton to handle their business.
Yeah. Obviously we talk about this league. Anything can happen at any time, but I don't see
Sheffield's a bad club. Sheffield's a bad team.
Yeah. They're really, really in poor form right now. There's no. I mean, even Ryan Brewster's played now.
Yeah,
we asked for Ryan Brewster. Ryan Brewster's getting in there, and they still can't score goals. So
go say. Oh, we got a City fan from Mark.
It's a disaster, and now I guess you're to the point where you got to start.
It's only going to get worse for Sheffield.
Yeah, I mean, I think January's coming here. January's a week around the corner, and
who can they bring in that's going to help?
Sell? No, I don't even think you bring. I think you just sell.
Oh, you're just at that point of selling.
Yeah, I think you keep Brewster. Obviously, you just gave him 5 years. He's going to be your building.
Like who's going to be like bringing? Who's like worth selling? That's going to get you any money whatsoever.
You'll get a few million here, a few million there for a couple guys that proved last year that they can do it in
like
the right
McBurney's been shite this year.
Yeah, I mean nobody's going to go like no one's going to go somewhere to be a guy, but they're going to go like a Lundstrom. There's a lot of teams that would love to have a Lundstrom in their rotation, not to be a starter, but we talk about depth like these bigger clubs, especially with.
It's a championship side.
It is, but there's still going to be guys that are intriguing to a bigger club as they're going to be playing more games.
There's not one guy that I would want on my team in the Prem.
Not one?
Mm-mm.
I would take Jaden Bogle.
Maybe Aaron Ramsdale as like a backup. It's a championship team. It just I don't know what happens. Once the fans, like we always say, once the fans in the pandemic hit, that killed them. No more. Yeah. They just all of a sudden became a team that we thought that they possibly were going to be. Just no big named guys. Just they played as a team last year in the beginning, and that right up until the pandemic, and then all of a sudden it just fell apart. And now they're going to get relegated, and I wouldn't even doubt that they could possibly do the double.
Yeah. I mean, they had a win slip away from them last week again. So they had that game locked up. And the aforementioned Lundstrom gets a red. They still find a way to score, take the lead with my man Jaden Bogle, which keep an eye on him. He will be a wing back for a big club in the next 2 years.
That kid can play.
That's he's one of the only ones because he's young and he's really good. He's a really good wing back, and he has a lot of potential. He's one of their newer additions too. He came from Derby, I believe.
Oh, Derby County.
So I mean, he'll be something. But they let Danny Welbeck get a late one and they draw Brighton. So just where they thought they were maybe going to do something, they still find a way to blow that. So yeah, you're right. They're not a good team. They have 2 points.
That's bad.
They have 2 points through 14 games.
I think is that the worst start in Prem history?
It's that and that Watford start last year got to be very close. I think this is worse. I'll have to look that up.
How about Watford got another manager?
Yeah. I know. I don't know how we didn't talk about that. Yeah.
I was going to bring that up later, but since we were talking about, or you just brought up Watford.
Just doesn't make sense.
How do you expect to be a successful team if you're just canning your manager after like 3-4 months?
I keep trying to get the job.
Hey, I wouldn't mind living in where is Watford? Like North London, like northwest London.
If they want, I'm available, guys.
Eric said, despite the injuries, is Liverpool still the fave? I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Jota's going to be out till February.
They're not going to have Van Dijk the rest of the year. I don't think it matters.
As long as you have those 3 up top, I think you're going to be pretty set. That's how I see it.
And they're going to add in January. They're going to. They were very quiet in that short transfer window before the start of this season.
All the big dogs that are out there are going to be linked to Liverpool.
Oh, yeah. Especially a defender. They're gonna go try and find probably a veteran center back on a short-term deal, knowing Van Dijk's gonna, need time to come back. Somebody that they can add back there that's solid to help out Gomez and Matip. But I would be absolutely shocked if that's not the exact play that they do come January.
Yeah, you got to grab a defender. I saw maybe Manuel Akanji from Dortmund.
Yeah.
Just as to provide you some depth and get some games just until Van Dijk comes back. Oh, we got another score alert.
Oh, boy. Who got it?
Villa putting the icing on the cake. Johnny McGinn.
Your boy.
No, El Ghazi again.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Speaking of
Eddie's boy.
Speaking of people that are scoring at will, El Ghazi, I think he leads the league or the last couple weeks in shots on net. Like, he'll just pull from anywhere.
I guess he's tired of all the shit that he was getting. It really, some guys, listen up. Some guys take that adversity and they use it to play better.
Yeah.
Some guys kind of cowered up and say, me, they're talking about me. Oh, I don't know. This guy has done nothing but just come out now for the last 3 weeks and just score the ball.
Shut him up.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, keep talking.
Shut him up. Yeah.
A lot of people didn't realize. I was one of them. I didn't realize he was for that Dutch national team.
El Ghazi.
Yeah. So he is a member of that team, and he's guy's been playing phenomenal. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that was a big pickup for them last year when they got him. I remember I don't remember what team he was played for. I think he came from the French league. I can't remember if it was Marseille or Lille or one of those top tier teams, but
let's I'll tell you. I will tell you.
Oh. Research at its finest. Didn't have my notes on. Well, we don't do notes around here, so
It was Lil.
Okay. Thought so.
It was Lil. I knew he was an Ajax product, which I just didn't know where that stop was after Ajax. So,
thanks, Mark. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man.
But yeah, let's go down tomorrow before we get into this open forum, John. So tomorrow we got Leeds. We got the breakfast game at 7 a.m. We got Leeds versus Burnley. That should, granted, Leeds have been leaking in a lot of goals, but they also score a lot.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on.
That should be a Leeds. That should be a Leeds
team. Honestly, Burnley didn't play that bad on. What was that? Tuesday? Monday?
Wednesday.
I lose track. The days they start blending together. Monday, I think
crazy.
It was.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, they didn't look that bad. Defensively, they didn't look bad. Ben Mead's back and starting to get a little healthy again, and that Charlie Taylor, I don't even know who the hell that is, but he had a pretty good game. And a freaking Ashley Barnes goal.
All you got to do is play Arsenal, and that'll wake you up.
And Chris Wood, he was on my bench. He scored.
Ever since they beat Arsenal 1-0, they've gotten a boost of confidence.
And that's good because I don't want to see my boy leave. I don't want Sean to get canned.
Yeah, now they're already out. They're already out to 16th. They're moving right back up that table, and they're getting out of that danger zone quickly. So
highway to the danger zone.
You string a couple wins together.
That's what happens, man. A little confidence booster.
That's it, man.
That's all you need. Tomorrow, 9:15, we got West Ham hosting Brighton. West Ham's been much improved this season.
Big time.
I like Jared Bowen, he's a good player. Obviously, they took the L against Chelsea, but I think the scoreline didn't really reflect on how close it actually was.
Yeah, it was a pretty well fought game on West Ham's part, and they've been playing well. They've been playing well as a whole.
Knowing that has like draw written all over it, because I could just see Brighton just kind of sitting in.
Score alert!
Score alert!
Score alert! Let's just
which game we got?
Southampton, Fulham. Everybody on? Oh man, we'll see. We'll see. Theo Walcott, man. Theo Walcott just keeps doing it. Now the past two Che Adams may have, they're going to call that back. Che was off. The ball was played to him. He sent a beautiful ball to Walcott. Walcott does an incredible job to get a foot on it, put it in the net, but it looks like they're going to call Che off. So that's an assist that I lose in fantasy, and Fulham looks like they're going to stay alive a little bit longer in this thing.
Just a little longer.
Yeah.
It'll all be over
about 5
soon.
minutes left, so it was called back. But, man, that thing looked nice. Ralphie's not happy.
Ralphie Hasenhedel.
They did pull it back. So, yeah, VAR, man. VAR is good and bad. It's the right call, but, like, before VAR, that's just a great soccer goal. And everybody at Fulham's going to complain the next day about it because you see it in slow motion, and Hampton's going to be happy. But it was a great play. It was a great goal, and it gets called back for a shoulder distance being offsides. But the rule's the rule, I guess. Unfortunately, now with technology, we can see every little detail, and if your fingernails over that line, then you're offside. So
got to clip them.
Yeah. Gotta clip them.
Oh, man. What else we got tomorrow? Oh, 11:30 tomorrow. We got Liverpool versus West Brom. That could get bad.
And that could be another touchdown performance for Liverpool.
If they get another touchdown, that's not good for the rest of the league, because then that goal differential just balloons to almost like uncatchable at that point.
It's already getting there.
We're seeing Liverpool come to life. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Chelsea's close to them. If they can get some points back, they're close in the goal differential. Them and Tottenham are about the only two that have a shot there. So right now,
yeah, that could be tough. That is especially at Anfield, which I think Liverpool, the city, is the only city left in England that's in not a tier whatever 4 or 5. Like, they can have fans in the seats. They're the only city left, because I think London, their cases started to rise pretty good. So there's no.
So they dropped that. Yeah, they dropped those 2,000 people.
Yeah, and I saw all the ones on the South Coast, Brighton and Southampton, both were like, nah, no more. So the Liverpool and Everton are the only 2 teams that are allowed to have fans right now.
At this point, the EPL needs to just stand in and say nobody. I mean, if it's only 2, like, come on, it is right.
Stupid, and I guess that 2,000 don't really make, since Everton lost the other day in the League Cup with fans.
Yeah.
I mean, what's 2,000 fans? Like, just money at that point.
That's all. Yeah, that's all they care about.
Just a money grabber. I have to relocate. Don't mind me.
It's all good. I like the background change. It's fancy.
Yeah, it's my brother's his little work office thingy. So he's got like this nice little setup of scarves and whatnot. Nice little union thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Just bought this house like a month ago, I think. So they're trying to slowly but surely move in. I just need to find an outlet. God forbid, you know.
Never fails. We always have something that we got to move or adjust.
It sucks, but
yeah, but you know what? It's not just us; it's everybody. So
it's
everybody's going through the same thing right now.
Yeah, you know, every week seems to be a different issue,
a new challenge.
Yeah, we overcome it, but it's just funny that what it comes down to. It's just when you go remote, and I'm just constantly moving around these days during the pandemic, like dealing with different internets and setups, and it's just an issue. But
yeah, I used to be the nomad. Now you've taken over the reins of the Kickin at Stateside nomad.
I'll take those. I'll take that. What else we got?
Just for the sake of Eddie and everything that he does to support our show, Rangers won 1-0 today over Hibernian. So a nice Boxing Day victory. I'm sure he's happy with that. And notable too, whenever you're talking about Rangers, his beloved rivals and hated Celtic, back in their winning ways, up 3-0.
We have Lord Walker
here. Oh
boy,
we got him. There he is,
the king himself.
What's going on?
He gets his own sign now too. And Eddie with the love for Rangers. Fire.
I have no audio on Lord Walker. I don't know if it's you or if it's on our back end.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Now can't unmute your guest. It says your mic's isn't connected.
That's all right. We'll keep going while we're waiting. Just pop in when it comes on.
I think I heard him. I think.
Getting a little bit
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. It's a little faint, but I was hearing you.
Tis faint.
Don't know why it's not working.
Oh no, we got you.
That was pretty good.
Got you now.
Can you hear
We're
me now?
good. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now we got it.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Let's do it.
Now we're good.
All right. Let me see if I can now I just gotta be able to hear you guys. Cam.
It is alive.
Late sub in the Southampton game. They brought in Janipo, maybe to push for a goal with about a minute left here.
Janipo.
Looking like Fulham may grab another point at the Cottage, just chipping away one at a time, trying to keep themselves out of relegation.
Can't hear them. I just have to play it on here.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, Eddie said your audio is perfect, so. Eddie said your audio is perfect.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I can't hear you, so I'm gonna go old school and just set it up remotely.
Bizarre.
Now you can hear the echo. You can hear the delay and coming through.
It's not as
coming through.
It's good now.
But I had to jump on. I had to definitely jump on. Okay, good. Definitely had to jump on. Hearing you guys talk about hearing about the Klopp. Hearing you guys talk about my boy Klopp.
to the ears of God, you heard us talking about him. You had to come. Like, I know he's talking about Klopp over there. Yeah, that who was it that Frank Lampard was complaining about now that they're not getting the results? He's complaining about the schedule being too packed, and we said that it's only when your teams aren't performing well is when that excuse comes out.
Yeah.
Hey, grab a couple wins in a row, and you stop finding things to complain about.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you're fighting for that top four, if not for some of these guys, the top six or top five, I should say.
That's a nice issue to have. I don't know anything about that.
I'm kidding.
You wouldn't.
No.
You can't
we got bottom
right.
Audio set up here because I'm still getting a delay for some reason.
We got bottom four talk going on my side. I have a comment on the one page where I shared our show. It says, as an Arsenal fan, I'm hoping we get relegated so he gives up an investment. And he'd love to see Pulisic score a hat-trick today. And that's an Arsenal fan talking. A U.S. fan and an Arsenal fan.
So he's wishing the worst for you at this point.
I'm gonna log out and then log back in because I'm still not being able to hear you guys. But I'll be right back in 2 seconds.
All right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm telling you, man, I'm almost in the same boat as this dude Sean here.
So you're starting to root for just the Americans, and then just say fuck your own team.
I mean, I've already gotten there with the MLS at this point, which with the birth of A2D New York, I was telling you, you know, I might have to bite the bullet and get back grinding my Red Bull.
I mean, you're gonna have to,
because I'm not jumping. I mean, for media purposes, I will be publicizing NYCFC because that's what we have to do. And there's 2 teams in this city, so we have to, you know, I have to give them equal out there. But yeah, I don't know. I can't take them on as fandom. We know that. So I mean, I guess I just have to. I got to jump back on the Red Bull wagon and hope that they start doing the right thing.
like have a some sort of identity and like a structure in place.
It'd be nice to, like start with a coach here, maybe get like a real football guy in and go maybe outside the box a little bit, bring in somebody.
Yeah, Lord Walker's back.
Okay, now I can hear you guys.
Yeah,
we're rolling.
Good to go and rolling. I got to get my own little producer here to help me out sometimes.
It's all right. It's actually a really good time because Eric, who's coming in at Philly Sports Passion 85, just asked, how true are the reports?
Oh yeah, that's a perfect.
This was so perfect.
Wow.
This wasn't even set up. I didn't set this up, and that's a fellow Liverpool fan.
Yeah,
a fellow Liverpool fan. So I'm gonna lay the table. We've been talking for an hour and a half here. I'll lay it over to you. You're here.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I definitely know that pretty much everyone in soccer's dream is to play for Real Madrid or a Barcelona, because those two are definitely some of the crown jewels in FIFA. I'm not going to deny that. I think some of that luster has definitely dissipated over the years. They've had numerous issues and numerous things that they've been going through. But I know that you hear the same thing from Manye. You're hearing, the thing that really troubles me is that it was a off-the-cuff style reporting of it. It wasn't like it was some sanctioned reporter that came up and had some really questions or doing some type of interview that was really sanctioned. It was more so like off the cuff, him just speaking his mind and saying, like most people, most players, I'm sure you ask plenty of the Chelsea players or Arsenal players, hey, you have a chance to play Real Madrid. Do you want to play? Yeah, I would like to play at that team, because everyone has them as such a pinnacle of the league, or of the world league, I should say. So I can understand him saying that. I'm not really scared to see what would happen if he does act on it, because I know that that's also bringing us back $150 million back. And great, cool. Salah goes, then use that money to buy Holland, or use that money to buy, Sancho. Like, that's how I see it. And I can also say this real quick, since I have a little bit of a time period here, or a time segment here. I was watching this. Now that we're at the end of the year, they were showing the reports of all of the 2020 year, and I also watched this report about Liverpool, and of course, and since 2015, when Klopp came in, do you realize that Liverpool has a net spend of 114 million, 114 point, I think it was like 3.7 or 3.8 or something along those lines. That's a net spend. There's 6 in spending for the Premier League, at least. You look at the others, Manchester City, 564 million. Manchester United, 501 million. And the sheer fact, I mean, let's take Manchester City out of it, because they've won the Premier League. They've also, made Champions League consistently. But you look at Man U, you look at your Arsenal. They're close to 300 million. They're like 298, I think, or something along those lines. Chelsea, your squad, 242. I mean, the sheer fact that we have done what we've done and have kept such an amazing budget and been able to have the flexibility to not be in this place where we're saying, oh, the board needs to spend more money, or this needs to be happening, or that. It's amazing what we've done for our academy, how we've like brought in these players, such as, we brought in Mane, we brought in our Salas. Those weren't big signings. We didn't pay 100 million, 125 million for those players. So with that said, to answer the post question, yeah, I definitely see that being something that I would be concerned, because I want to see Salah, forever on this team for the most part, but still, if that day comes, as long as we get compensated right, I'll be okay with it, because I've seen what they've done by selling. I'm a big Coutinho fan, and by selling Coutinho, that's how we got Allison. That's how we got Van Dijk. So at the same time, as long as we properly manage, I'm cool with it. I'm totally cool. I'm not so fan heavy now. At least with my Liverpool team. If you come with my Eagles or or teams like that, or my Sixers, yeah, different story. But
so basically, I'm gathering, not to put words in your mouth, but to sum up what you just told me,
right, is
it doesn't matter who's wearing those 11 or 18 jerseys as long as Klopp is in charge, because he's the number one reason for that success, and not just on the pitch, but bringing in the good deals. Even Van Dijk. Van Dijk was a hell of a talent. Everybody knew what Van Dijk was becoming for the Netherlands and Southampton. Yes. But he wasn't that guy till he got with Klopp and got on that team.
Absolutely. Klopp's system is amazing. Amazing system. Absolutely. That's when it happened. You're right about that.
Those two young wing backs. Yes. Those guys. Again, Salah, who was cast away time after, it was starting to be like what everybody thought Salah was going to be, he was never going to be.
Right.
And now he's top, 5 player in the world. So.
Well, let me say this to my fellow Liverpool fans out there. You never walk alone. And also, let me also say to all the Liverpool haters, Klopp came in, and let me listen to this lineup. Klopp came in with a lineup of Origi at the top, Coutinho, Milner, Lana, Leva, Can, Klein, Skirtle, Sacco, Moreno, and Mignolet. That was our squad. Not one of those players is starting for that team, for this current team. Yeah. So the evolution of this squad has been epic, and the sheer fact that we have such a stacked team, such a well balanced and stacked team of players that come in and consistently play the system, and is phenomenal. But I'm not going to all give it to just Klopp though, because I'm a huge Klopp fan, obviously. But the board, the system, the management behind it is key too. I'm not a big Moneyball fan at all, but the sheer fact, and I'll admit that I was definitely kind of talking to Mr. Henry early in our relationship, okay? Mm-hmm. But I still believe that the way that they brought about a measured way of spending, a measured way of getting results, investing in our academy, bringing up players, looking for those gems, and bringing them in that fit the system again, have the right mentality. It's made a difference, and that's the real difference between all these teams in the Prem. Like all the teams you see, your Arsenal, they're trying to orchestrate that, trying to bring in some type of system. Your Manchester City, they have an open pocketbook. If Liverpool had the pockets that a Manchester City or a Chelsea had, oh my goodness.
But sometimes isn't that a curse? Like, I feel like they do a better job at Liverpool finding the right guy for the system, the right guy that they can say, you know what, he's going to cost us a little bit of money, but the upside, if we can get the best out of this guy, is like beyond. Like, so I feel like sometimes when you have that unlimited, then you buy just to buy.
Yes.
You buy guys, sure. Like not to knock Chelsea because it's so early in it, but like Chelsea did a lot of right things in this offseason. Ben Chilwell, great signing. Timo, great signing.
Right.
Probably not bringing William back. Good not signing.
Sure.
But like then I feel like maybe they just overdid it because they were in that with Havertz. Again, it's still too early to tell. You got to give that kid a chance and all that, but sometimes I feel like that can hurt you by just feeling like, oh, I'll just write another check. And you really gotta
focus in on it. Yeah, you got to focus in on the players that you know will fit and everything else. I will say this though, especially with the salaries. I mean, having represented players in multiple leagues. Salaries are the biggest thing. Your Warner, for instance, the reason why we didn't go for him wasn't because we didn't have the money to make the acquisition. It was more so he wanted a salary that would be on the lines of a Salah or a Mane. And that's phenomenal what you did in the Bundesliga. Congratulations. But there is no way in God's green earth that I would pay him a comparable salary to those players.
Yeah.
And not yet.
Not yet. No. And I'm not saying that he can't, ascend to that level, but he wanted it now.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And it was like, no, it's not happening. There's a locker room. There's a locker room full of players that all know what each other pretty much makes. Okay. And they all feel that they're worth more than, if not the equal amount, if not more than every other player on the team, and you don't want that in your locker room. You don't want that to be something that's in the back of that player's mind and not being able to play and bring out what you need to do. And that's what that's my biggest fear. We've signed a lot of these players and I would love to have the deep pockets of Manchester City, of your PSGs, so that we could pay these players even when they say, oh, well, I want to go play for this. Well, hey, how about we give you what, for instance, your Arsenal did with Aubameyang? There was a report came out.
Unfortunately,
yeah, I know. I don't want to. Since you're poking my bear, I'll poke you.
That's fair.
There was a report.
Adam's the only one not getting poked right now.
Oh no,
well,
I kind of did. Fire for him too. There was a report saying how your as you look at the wage salary of your Wilhelm, or your Bellerin, Bellerin has a setup where he makes an additional $2,000 a week to his already $114,000 a week wage. He's making for every year it goes up like $2,000. That's incredible, and he's still got like 2-3 years left on his deal. That's the real cancer. When everyone wants big time money, everyone wants money that they probably don't deserve. They're not performing up to those measures. That's the real cancer. And I mean, so it's the reason why we didn't go get Kai. It's the reason why we didn't get Warner again. Is because they were asking too high of a price for us to bring him in, and then when we have him, great. Now we got to pay you, and that's the difference between soccer and your other leagues, by the way, too.
Right. A lot of people don't understand that. It's not only what you got to pay the guy; it's what you got to pay to just get the guy,
just to get him,
just to have a conversation with the guy. Right. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can only imagine if someone was like, oh, yeah, you want Carson? Fantastic. Well, not only do you have to take on his $100+ million contract, but now you got to pay us $100 million too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be so that is such a difference between your NFLs and your NBAs and such, as to the way deals are done and the way that you manage these clubs. And there's reports, for instance, that now that Messi's coming up, he's kind of got settled a little bit in Barcelona, but he's coming up on possibly leaving Barcelona in the summer, and then possibly going to PSG, and that'd be incredible, but that's a report, and that's a rumored report. I'm not saying that's going to happen or anything like that, but you have those situations, and that's where it gets scary, is the idea that you have to pay these players, and some of these players like Mike Coutinho, who I still to this day would love to see him back. I don't have any really animosity against him. But, some of these players go to your Barcelonas and your Real Madrids, and you find out the grass isn't really greener on the other side. You had it really, really good. You were a legend here. You were a fan favorite. And for you to leave like that, the way that you pissed and moaned your way out, hey, you kind of get what you get.
Maybe Poch will call Arsenal up and see if Aubameyang's available, because I'd be okay with that at this point. he could go to. He'll love it being back in France.
Yeah,
very comfortable there.
And with what Eddie just posted, I agree. But I do say that PSG, the way that they run, and what's scary is when you have these nation-run clubs, what they did to that. I don't care what you say. What they did to the PSG coach is horrible. That man.
I'm still confused why.
It's It makes it really doesn't make any sense, other than you having, a Brinks truck full of money, and you being like, I want to win now. I want to win now. I want to win now. Like you doing your Cartman. Basically.
Yeah.
And wanting results.
You want the sexy name. Pochettino is a more sexy name than Tomas Tuchel out there.
Yeah.
And for that maybe reason, what Eddie said, like, all right, well, let's bring in Pochettino. He's a more sexy name than Tomas Tuchel, and maybe you can get that Messi signing next year.
Exactly.
Yeah. And other names. I mean, all the talks we were talking a few weeks ago about, Eriksen on his way out of Inter, and there was a lot of talks that he was possibly going to go to Arsenal, and now PSG with him in there, they're just like, now there's maybe he'll be going somewhere else, because it's a familiar face and he seems to like to be comfortable. So maybe.
Well, how do you feel about
link
that
back
rumor?
up with Poch and get his career going again?
How do you feel about that rumor that Eriksen might come to Arsenal?
Just to get a different set of eyes, just to get something. If the price is right, sure. Because it's a guy who I think played really well, at Tottenham. He made a mistake of going to a club that just wasn't a good fit.
He fucked that whole
guys do it all the time. I mean, how often do guys just they take that chance in this game and they realize, like you said, the grass isn't greener. They get to a club that's just not the right fit, and it starts to mess up their career, where maybe, and now they have an opportunity to come back to the Prem and kind of make your name better for your old rival.
Yeah. That would be sticking it to Tottenham. That would be sticking it to Spurs for sure.
But at the same time, where the state of Arsenal right now,
that's what I'm trying to get across.
That's not the move. It's not the move.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Tom. Yeah,
it is. It is not the ideal move for Arsenal right now. No.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to. That's the reason why I was asking that question, because I thought that I think he's a great player. I just thought that though the way that he kind of like quit on the team, he finally gets shipped out. He's doing decent and decent in the Italian league, but to know that player would hold that mentality of quitting the way he did, to come to what is kind of like a shit fire, or whatever you want to call it, Arsenal. Go back. You want to get out of North London, and then to go back to North London, and then be like, oh yeah, this is going to work out again.
Grass ain't always
Arsenal
greener,
is
like you said.
Arsenal is the 2020 of the Premier League right now.
Yeah.
That's what Arsenal is right now.
Very well put. Very well put.
Very much a dumpster fire.
Yeah, very well put. But I'm excited to see what 2020. I was going to ask if you guys had a 2020 team of the year. If you guys had an actual squad or anything like that. I know it might be a little difficult to just kind of come off the top of your head, but I mean, if you're putting something together, and whoever and anyone that's watching, to include theirs, I'd love to see what they felt was
like one team or like an accumulation of 11 guys that would be
accumulation of
one
11
existing
players.
team.
Yes,
Okay,
what like combined 11 type deal, and they don't have to be rigid. They don't have to be rigid to their position. I would say. Because, for instance, on my team, I would have, obviously I'm going to have Hendo because of what he brought and everything else. And obviously he was the, player of the year for the Prem. But I would also have to include like KDB in that, De Bruyne would have to be in that as well. But they somewhat play the same position, but, they can still be moved around. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could just do midfielders and
right.
I mean, if I'm going to go 2020 as a whole year and it's been a hell of a year. It's crazy how long of a year this has really been.
Yeah.
We've only been on A2D and it was a year in October. So it's been like, and if you can ask Adam going back from when we first started making the runs to the studio and all of that, like, it's just crazy how this year has been and with the time off that we had and all that.
I mean, that kind of goes, I guess, to the poll question, too, if you want to talk who's been the best or – oh, God. I threw it out there.
I know.
I didn't agree with it. You can agree or disagree. I didn't agree with it.
Which is very interesting. That's a great question. I'm not saying that, oh, God, I can't believe you'd ask that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it would –
Because, I mean, there's – you could honestly say, hasn't Harry Kane been – the MVP for that team somewhat, him now taking on a new somewhat role of being a provider for Son, like as in, that has been, and Kane really showing some of his best form under Mourinho, which is pretty incredible.
I mean,
I can't do this. I can't.
They both helped each other out.
Yeah,
I said that too in the beginning of the show. I said I disagreed, and I disagreed because the only person right now that I would give it to over him is Harry Kane, and it just makes me nauseous again thinking that those are two of the best players in this league right now for one of the better teams in this league right now. Yeah. And I'm sitting here with my $100 million man that can't put the ball in the net except for the other team.
Yeah, well, he puts it in your net, so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's for the other team. But going back to what you asked, if we're going Prem only, starting from the back, I would probably give the goalkeeper to Dean Henderson.
Wow, for 2020, because we're not talking about
for 2020.
2020, because we're not talking about just this particular, this season right now.
That's
all the way back to January. Yes.
January because if you're going that calendar year of 2020, what he did last year before the COVID break, I know it was short, and it was part of it was in 19 still, but it's looking like he's becoming the major difference in the fact that Sheffield is playing so poor right now.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
He's taken over the number one job at United pretty much, and they're now up to third. I mean,
Brian froze?
I think he did.
He was on a Dean Henderson rant.
I know, he's about to really get into Dean. Which I was interested. While he's frozen, why don't you tell me what would be your? You can start from the back as well. Who would be your?
I mean, I would probably say Allison as my goalie, not so much Dean Henderson.
Great. Okay. We're on the same wavelength. Because I'm interested to hear his Dean Henderson, his Henderson rant.
Dean was definitely good, but I wouldn't say he was the best. If I'm doing like a starting 11, I don't think he would be in it. I mean, you'd have to give it to Van Dijk too if you're talking the whole season.
Right, and again, that's why I'm asking for the calendar year, because that's what I mean. Some people look at stuff. No, they'll say, "Oh, well, 2020. Oh, well, that means that you have to. You're just thinking of this particular set of games that we've been playing in this season. Well, the summer and spring are part of 2022. So that calendar year, when you're coming out with it, and I thought it'd be interesting to hear what you guys would say, considering we're coming up on the new year, hopefully a better 2021 for us all.
Yeah.
I was just interested to hear.
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me? Am I here?
Yes.
All good.
It was weird because I still had audio, you guys, but I just dropped everything. So, and no, I don't disagree with the Allison thing. I was just trying to be a little outside the box in the fact that I think it's making you're really starting to see what that kid brings to a team and how bad his old team is looking without him. And now, he's basically a lot of people think De Gea is still a top 5 goalkeeper in the world as far as the international game goes with Spain. So for him to be supplanting him is kind of a big, it's kind of a big deal.
I would just contend that you look at what Allison means to Liverpool, considering who we had to replace him with, and the sheer drop off in productivity and confidence alone. I mean, the awards alone is one thing, but that's
I mean, he's the number 1 goalkeeper in the world. I mean, he's top 3 easily in the world right now. So there's no debating that at all.
Well, then who's your back? And I know we're limited on time, so who's your back 4 then?
Definitely. Your boy in Van Dijk is
okay. That's
100% in there. I would say probably it's hard to take it out of your entire defense for the most part, but honestly, I think I would give Chilwell the left back spot over Robertson.
Wow. Okay. Now I might have to mute. I might scream at some point.
Just to have parity in my picks, because you got to have Alexander-Arnold as your other right back.
See,
I don't want an entire Liverpool 11. You just want me to give my 11 to all of Liverpool and name them the team of the year. That's what you want.
Absolutely. Love hearing it.
Yes. And that's why I asked you, is it a whole team? Are we giving, because Liverpool's the team of 2020.
Absolutely.
Liverpool.
Absolutely.
They are the whole team of 2020.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
So you take Liverpool and you take out a few pieces and say, who would you want in there? So you lose Firmino and you get Vardy as your striker, because that would make Vardy has to be the striker of the team of the year.
Yeah, I love Bobby, and I think and I can't say this enough. And I know Adam loves Bobby as well. He loves his blue eyes.
Hell yeah, but,
sexy man. But Bobby is such an amazing player in that he creates he's the glue of this team. And how I can say that is that I just watched earlier. I just watched the Chelsea-Liverpool game where Mane scored twice in that game. And there is no one on our squad because Mane is a very, low profile, very reserved player when it comes to his emotions and everything. And there is no other player that can bring a smile to Sadio's face than Bobby.
Yeah.
And those things are important. And I mean, because you have to keep chemistry is one of the most key parts of a team. But I wouldn't put Bobby in my 2020, team, combined 11. There's no way I would put that.
Right.
I'm not that much of a
a homer.
A homer, exactly.
I'm trying. Honestly, I'm trying.
Vardy gets it. Vardy gets it for me. Sure.
I'm trying to think of.
They're like Vardy and probably again De Bruyne, I would say, but it's mostly Liverpool players.
I have like
If
to maybe help you guys along is that I'll give you my squad if you want to hear it. I have Allison definitely back at the goal tenor. My back four is definitely Trent, obviously Virgil. I would put that other position is tough because
that's where I'm at. Struggling.
The other center back's tough. I really, really like the play of Vestergaard this year. He could be he's loosely put into that starting 11 for me. I still can't. You got to put Robbo in. I think Robbo has had a better year than Trent, to be honest with you. But Trent's the sexy pick, you know. Mm-hmm. My mids would be definitely Jordan, Kevin, as I said, Kevin De Bruyne as well. I have to, despite the fact that it still hurts, it almost like lumps up in my throat. But I would put Bruno in the mid.
Oh yeah, he has to. Has to be
the sheer difference that he's made, the fact that he propelled them to basically to third in the league, was phenomenal for what you can say about him and his play is amazing. Even though let's not get into that. And then because it hurts any Man U thing hurts to say. And then I would say my front three would definitely be Salah, Vardy, and to go along to segue into your question too again, I'd put Son because if I'm not going to if I have Vardy in as my striker, that means I can't put Kane in that position. So and Kane doesn't really play a wing position, you know. So I'd put Son, and Son's been on a phenomenal clip.
Yeah, he's been a beast.
That would probably be,
and he almost killed a guy this year.
Right, but as much as I would say I would put Son
on the field or the Korean government or Korean army,
maybe both.
Maybe both. Yeah. But even though, with that said, I still, just in case Sadio watches this clip, I would put Mane over Son if it came down to
you got to back your boy
writing in the vote. I would still put Mane in. Because Mane,
I would pick Mane over Son. 9 out of 10 times.
Right, because Mane's results and performance last year. Okay, that's a good.
And his wires don't cross like Sonny.
Yeah.
He stays. He doesn't lose his mind and go break Andre Gomez's leg.
Right.
Yeah,
I would put Mane in primarily because, again, as we said before, it's not just this because Mane hasn't come out really that firing on all cylinders this year. But his been decent play, not to his standard of level of production. But his production last year, he was contending for the Golden Boot. He was doing things that, he was possibly the most consistently on the field player for Liverpool last year. So, that's.
I have a little outside the box guy for that last center back position if it's still up in the air.
Oh, absolutely. Let's hear it.
And it kind of takes a hit today because he got a red card and his team still found a way to perform. But Tyrone Mings. If you go back to Villa last year, Tyrone Mings Villa was playing pretty good at the beginning of last year. And when he went down with that injury, that changed that entire team. And they were in serious relegation issues without him. And so far this year, again, he's been really good for them. And they, that the whole team looks better. The whole team looks different. Mm-hmm. They look but he's a big part of that. He's the number one central defender on that team. And, there's just not another big name that stands out. So he's one of them for me that I think, could be in that running. Even Sancho, for Leicester,
Yeah.
Although Leicester's been finding a way to win without him, they keep plugging guys in, and it seems to be working. But
they do.
But
and it's a shame because I mean, what's going to happen with Leicester? I mean, there's talks about Brendan possibly coming to your squad of Arsenal. I think that it's a shame because there's those teams like that really don't find any real how can I put it? Like any real foundational pieces that they can hold on to. You know, if you're always just selling just so that like you can, you know, make a few dollars here and there, eventually you're going to enjoy the top 6 while you're there, because eventually you're going to find yourself slipping down. And
I wouldn't want anybody to take that job until Kroenke's out of here.
Brendo.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't want to ruin anybody's career that way at this point.
Well,
because if you're Brendan Rodgers, are you really wanting to leave what you got going right now over there to come to this disaster?
Yeah, but like most coaches,
they want the challenge.
They want the challenge, or not only that, they believe in themselves. I mean, a lot of these coaches and these players, some of these coaches are former players. You know, there is your Lampard, excuse me. For instance, he comes in with a swagger as if he's won the Champions League and Prem already as a coach, and he has that, and albeit he has won as a player, he hasn't won as a coach yet. But if you were to, wake up from a coma today and see Lampard, you'd think, oh, has he won titles already? And but at the same time, same goes with Henry. Like as in the MLS, especially, it's just that ability or that belief in yourself that, hey, I'm the man. And I think that's something that you see in a lot of these coaches, and I think that's one reason why you might see that happen.
Yeah.
But he should realize that his situation in Leicester is a lot better than he would have at Arsenal.
I'll put it this way: Klopp isn't even walking in Arsenal's door and changing things as long as that ownership is the way it is.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's how bad it is.
Okay.
That's how bad it is.
I have two things, and I know we're short on time. I hope that we can run over a little bit because there are two things I want to definitely say. One, again, I told those numbers again I told those numbers. As much as I've been saying the same as you have been saying, we've privately chatted about how that board is a mess. It's a hot mess. Look, to say that Arsenal is not spending is not the case.
They're spending in the wrong places. I never said they're not spending, but they're spending stupidly. There's a difference. I've never knocked the fact that he's not willing to spend the money, but he's not willing to get the right people to spend the money in the right places.
I just think it's difficult. $300 million, close to 300. I know it's like 298. I want to say, but
and you don't have a single defender on the team outside of Kieran Tierney. Well, and now Gabrielle, but little at a time, I guess.
Yeah, and that's a net spend, obviously. Because they've let go some players and brought in some players, but to have a net spend of $300 million, that says you're spending money, and that says something about the board. I know, for instance, Tottenham has spent 100 and I think it's close to 190, or 189 million or something along those lines. Let's just call it 189 million. Well, 190 million. That alone is something of a difference because, a lot of your Man U's and stuff like that, they're spending 2-3 times that, and if you're, you can't say that. And I wish we had more time because you're Arsenal. Arteta has gotten his players. He has asked for certain players. He's brought in a lot of different players, and he's gotten them. He's gotten the players.
I love this. I could just
2. He's gotten 2 players.
No,
in 1 year
in Arteta's reign. they've spent more money than they've spent with Emery and Wenger combined. Like, that is incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, and half of it went to Aubameyang, though.
No, and I'm not saying it didn't, but he asked for that. His mindset was this: I'm going to come into this team and I'm going to make Arsenal defend. Awesome. We're going to make everyone defend. Great. And he's going to have that, and he's going to say, look, I show Man City how to do that. I'm going to show Arsenal how to do that. Fantastic. But at the same time, he was like, I need to score goals. Someone's got to score the goals.
And you had a guy that did it, but he doesn't work for the way you want to score goals, and he should have known that.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, who you're going to put? Who would you put in that position? You have a bona fide scorer on the squad.
I know.
You're not going to just let him walk.
You need to connect them. Yeah. You know that well as anybody. You are as good as your midfield. It's great to have great defenders and a good goalie and a good scorer. You need those pieces in the middle to connect it all,
well,
and
that's why he went to Chelsea and signed the Brazilian for the $300,000 or whatever he makes. Is because look, let's not. And you can hate on him as much as you want, okay? And I know you're probably glad that he's no longer on your squad for Chelsea, but he was one of the difference makers. We just did a 2020, and we had no Chelsea players on that list. Mm-hmm. And if there was anyone that I would have come close to saying, "Oh, he could have been a candidate," it would have been him. Mm-hmm. And that's it sucks. Yes, you're fine. I mean, sometimes, age hits you, and you're you're playing well, and all of a sudden you wake up and you can't get out of bed, or playing double is difficult, and that happened. But let's be real. Willian was is still a good player. He just, I don't know. He has. I mean, I think there was a stat out there that he's gone 799 minutes and have one shot on goal. That's you having a system that just doesn't work for you, really.
The beauty of this game is that all this talk can go away if Arsenal can pull this Boxing Day victory off.
Absolutely.
Today.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say is come out today. Let's beat Chelsea. And then everybody's going to forget about the last 3 months.
All is right in the world with you then, right?
For a week.
For one win.
Week. Yeah, until they lose to Brighton and West Brom back to back.
Yeah. It could happen.
It could.
Or get 2 points out of there and draw West Brom on the road or something. To Big Sam.
It could, and that could happen. But again, I really can't stress enough that Chelsea had a well orchestrated comeback, or by doing what, or not, I say comeback. They kind of dropped the push. They should have been, I believe, higher in the table than they ended up ending last year. But there are players that were difference makers on that, and I really believe that he was one of those players. I mean, he was one of the reasons why we got knocked out of the cup last year. Mm-hmm. And because of his play, and because he was a key player on that team. And I think that you can say what you want about him. Them not wanting to pay him and then letting him go and doing it because of his age, and they're about to make these other acquisitions of bringing this Bundesliga youth in the squad, and he became expendable. That's great, but he, I think, could have been the difference maker when in this squad with direction and key links, everything else. as opposed to your Kai Havertz, who isn't really producing that yet. And I'm not saying that again. I'm not Kai Havertz hater. I was actually hoping we would end up having him on our squad. I think that what you're really seeing is there is a definite difference between the Premier League and the Bundesliga league. Whereas in pace, as in just the sheer commitment and pressure and amount of talent that surrounds you on every team, there's a difference, and that's why I was just interested to hear.
It's a different league. Timo came out this week and said he knew it was a physical league, but he did not know it was that physical. Like, it's taken a toll on him. He flat out said it.
Yeah.
And it is.
I'm going to tell you right now, by looking at this Arsenal lineup, there's moves coming in. Something's happening in January.
Interesting. I mean, there's going to be.
Did you see this lineup today?
I haven't seen that.
He's making a statement today. You're playing Chelsea on Boxing Day at home, and you got Lacazette starting up top. You have Gabriel Martinelli, Saka, and Emmanuel Smith-Rowe starting as your kind of your top three. He's running a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I see that.
He's got Xhaka and El Nahyi in there, and now he's starting Pablo Mari finally back fit for the first time that I can remember seeing him. Tierney's in there. I mean, this is a ballsy lineup.
It is, but I mean, you got to have a ballsy style approach to what you.
I like it. Oh, I love everything about it. I love this lineup today. I like this idea.
Look, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Chelsea, though. Chelsea finally giving a little respect, or as I like to say, putting some spect on his name. Tammy, who I like Tammy. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of forums that I've seen speak of him as if he's not prime time yet, or that he's not a starter for this team, much less like the upper echelon of teams of the Prem. Right. And I'm like,
he's proven.
Put some respect on his name, man. Like, he was your top scorer last year. Come on. You just don't like, I feel like Beyonce or something, like, like about to say, like,
he's a good goal scorer. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I don't know why people are talking shit on him.
Well, I'm intrigued by the Kovacic start. Honestly, that's an interesting move for you guys today too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can understand. I think he was somewhat forced. His hand was somewhat played by you having Giroud play so well and be on such amazing form.
Yeah, you had to put him in the team.
You have to put him in to say, "Oh, you're going to sit the bench." Great, 4 goals in that one game that he had.
Yep.
But yeah, there's the pine. Go find it. That can't happen, obviously. And I'm saying the same way because it happened to us when Jota was scoring all those goals for us. And people were clamoring for Bobby to have a seat. I see that and understand that, but Tammy definitely produces a lot more pace.
Yeah,
and if you can bring in Giroud in at like the 60th minute or something along those lines, and you get a solid 30 out of him, I think he can find that rhythm, especially since he is a veteran.
Right.
You can find that rhythm and he can produce for you. It's just a matter of him thinking, "Oh, I'm a starter. And I don't want to be a sub, and that could have, negative or positive effects on a player. But I really think that these squads are interesting. And I am not a Lacazette fan. I'm not an Arsenal fan, obviously, but I don't have hate against Arsenal, considering that a good number of my friends are Arsenal fans, are Gooners. As a lot as they say, Gooners.
The Gooners.
I think you should just really, really hope and pray that Lacazette finds that form that you guys originally saw in before you bringing him in. Give him a sense of just an inkling of confidence. You might have a squad. You might have a game here.
Yeah, this one might get interesting with this. We'll see. So
yeah,
but let's go. I guess we'll go check it out. I want to sit down and actually watch and see.
Oh, I know that I'm holding you both.
No, it's okay.
Both hostage here by not being able.
No,
I don't, dude. I haven't watched a game live in like 3 weeks as bad as they've been. Everything's been going back and watching it afterwards, so it's all right.
Yeah,
but yeah. I'm just trying to think of anything else we need to touch on to wrap up. I think we kind of covered everything.
Did you have any yellow red card? Mine was just Kiran Trippier. I think that's my whole.
Yeah, he was my red card. He was
Just
definitely my red card.
that whole situation. Did he bet on the team?
Oh yeah,
On his own team?
Yeah,
or just in general?
I didn't read all the details.
Yeah,
I didn't read all the details.
I saw that headline. I didn't read that article or any articles on that yet, but that's a really touchy thing. I mean,
especially in this city, Pete Rose talk.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, he came actually. This player actually came to Arizona, but did a little rehab here. But Daniel Sturridge, kind of ran into similar trouble with those types of allegations as well. And it's a real touchy thing. Players are out there, and I don't want to get into like the White Sox, Black Sox, whatever you want to call it, situations and everything. But well,
especially now, it's right at your fingertips. It's too easy now.
Yeah, it is. It is. You can set up dummy accounts or have your friend do it or whatever. It's a lot of different things.
It could get messy, and apparently it got messy for him. I mean, I think they suspended him 10 weeks, which is more than they've done for any of this racism shit. Like, they're making an example of this guy for betting, but they can't do the same for something way more important than that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
They need to get that under control too. So
yeah,
that's probably the first time that we've not had that.
Oh, that was gonna be a good point too. I could feel it.
Yeah, he was ready.
Yeah, I think that you're there. You're good.
Oh, he's good.
Now he's back. Yeah, no, it's a touchy situation when you come with like bet. I mean, betting has no place when it comes to players, coaches, management, even owners. And you could be betting on your team to win. It's still very, very.
That's dicey.
touchy.
Yeah,
that could get real bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely bad.
I actually only have one more question before we go, and because you brought his name up, where the hell's Daniel Sturridge? I thought he was coming to the MLS.
I did too.
He was going to be DC striker. It sounded like it was all set up, and then I haven't heard anything. What's he doing?
I don't know what he's doing, and again, because. I don't know. I wish I had a better a line or I'd ask for his number so I could text him when I actually got to meet him. But yeah, I don't know.
Hold on.
I don't know.
He could be a difference maker. He's still got something left in the tank.
Is he in China?
No, he was. Right now, he's not listed as anywhere. The last listing, he was in Turkey.
Okay.
At Trabzonspor, but that was in 19 and 20. There's no record right now of him.
Free agent Danny Sturridge
this season.
Yeah,
that's better off for him.
Yeah. Before we leave, it's not a yellow or a red card. It's just more of a shout out. One of my best friends actually, is retiring, or has retired, and he's a good player. He's a good man. Did well for his squad, and I don't know. I get a little choked up thinking about it because I've known Kyle. I'm talking about Kyle Beckerman, obviously, and I've known Kyle for possibly like 10 years now or something. It's been a long time, about 10 years. It's been almost close to a decade. And being in Arizona, a lot of these teams go to Casa Grande for their preseasons. So I've had the fortune to meet a lot of different players, a lot of different teams, whether it's the Galaxy, whether it's Kansas City, excuse me, whether it's Real Salt Lake, again. But Kyle is a great guy, phenomenal career, and U.S. men's national team player, has won an MLS Cup, is by far the captain when it comes to captains, and I was on the ride with him when he's getting people saying, well, why is he on the U.S. men's national team, or he doesn't deserve to be there, and when you had all these great U.S. talents around him. And I'm saying he's a great talent as well. This man has put in so much work, and has been a real talisman for the league, and always brings it, and has really brought a quality to that Real Salt Lake team, and tip of the hat to my brethren, and the next chapter begins, and I'm excited to see it and possibly be a part of it. So,
and he has great hair.
Yeah, well, he had great hair.
He had great. I'm sorry. Yes, he had great hair. Correction.
Yeah, that's a good shout out. Definitely worth the accolades that he's done in, MLS and U.S. national team. He was a stalwart, as they would say.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely a guy that I enjoyed watching.
So yeah, definitely respect to Kyle. So congrats. Hopefully, good things to come for him after his playing career.
Yes, certainly. This next chapter is going to be good. Stay tuned.
Yeah,
he definitely has some really, really cool things that are going to be coming down the alley there.
Love it. But yeah, I think we've run our course today. Good talks as always. Thank you, Lord Walker, again for jumping on with us, chatting it up about your Reds.
Yeah, I'm always seeing Reds. That's how it comes down to.
And last minute update on Sturge. He did receive a 4-month worldwide ban for his issues, so that's why we haven't probably seen much of him. And that was back in March.
Eddie did say that he was kicked off in Turkey.
So maybe he'll be back. Maybe he'll make a late career surge. So
and real quick, it's tough. It's tough for a lot of these players to go and play. Turkey is a great country. I've actually visited Turkey. I've spent time in Turkey. I spent about 2 weeks actually in Turkey. So, but it's definitely a difference when you come to Turkey, considering it's a Muslim-based country in Europe, and you have to adjust to the lifestyle and everything that differs from, say, your Belgium or your Switzerland or Sweden or the other leagues that aren't definitely not up to the level of your Italy or Germany or France or England, but you have to make that adjustment. And it's not an easy adjustment to make for some of these players, especially Daniel is like, I know when, he came here, he's well adjusted to America, and he's well adjusted to the settings that, the bankroll that he has can acquire him here. You know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's an adjustment. But
all right, well, we're still 0-0, so we'll see. We'll see in the new year how happy I am and how.
You
I
might
would say real quick. You got to give a prediction. You got to give a prediction, both of you. Come on. You're gonna dip out and not give like who. I know you each have each team winning. I'm sure, but you got to give a prediction.
I have his team winning. Are you kidding me?
Almost did the Home Alone face. Oh my goodness. What?
I would have said that probably 2-0 Chelsea. Okay. That's my prediction.
Because it's 2020 and it's the last time I'm ever going to have to predict Arsenal in 2020. Let's go with the upset at the Emirates. Let's get back on track. 2-1.
Wow. Great. That's the confidence I want to hear.
Aubameyang off the bench with the game winner.
Wow.
Let's do it. Just like when I called the Wilfred Ndidi header to draw Chelsea a year and a half ago or whenever that was.
I believe it.
Let's go Aubameyang off the bench.
Speak it into existence.
Game winner.
Oh, hey, my supporter club loves, or the bar that I go to sometimes to watch my Liverpool games. Shout out to Crown Public House in Phoenix. Great place to watch Liverpool games. If anyone wants to come out, more than welcome. But I can't say enough about how I put into existence that Bobby was going to score that header against Tottenham. Wow.
Wishes come true.
They might as well just put an oracle around me and just been like, just rub me.
Speak it into existence.
Speak it into existence, man.
It's great when we go on record and it actually works out. So
for sure. I see 2-2. I see a 2-2 game here. And I see Lacazette scoring, despite it looks like Pablo just got a yellow card, it looks like, or has a yellow card. But hopefully, as long as they don't go 10 men down.
That's likely, though.
Yeah.
Red card city. Card city.
Yeah. And also, I noticed that they don't have Luis in, actually. That's interesting.
Yeah, thank God.
David Luiz revenge game.
God.
Thanks, Rich.
Nice. Very nice.
But yeah.
Who's your score? So 2-1.
I want to speak a Kai Havertz goal into existence if that's what's going to come down to.
That's going to have to come off the bench too. Look at that.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to get his shit together here.
He does.
Unfortunately, when you pay that much money, you don't get to not do anything for the first half of the season and expect people not to be a little unhappy.
I commend you, and I'm glad to hear you finally coming to that reality. That's all I was saying. I'm not a Kai Havertz hater. I'm not a Kai Havertz hater. I'm not a Thomas Warner hater at all. But yeah, if you're going to spend that to be the record spend on a player, you now have such pressure to produce. There's no, we're going to put him to the side and we're going to have him come off the bench.
You can't bring guys like that off the bench that you pay.
You don't spend that kind
70 million plus for.
Yeah, and then have him sit on the bench.
You just can't have it.
Can't have that.
So hopefully my speaking into existence a Kai Havertz goal or do something. Where's the meme of me poking him with a stick? Do something.
Yeah. I'm telling you, look for it. Lacazette's going to score.
I would love it.
He's going to score. He's going to score today.
There you go.
Take it in a dub. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm not making it. I'm looking for the draw, but yeah.
All right. Well,
all right, guys. Well,
thanks everybody for tuning in, and I guess we'll see everybody in 2021.
Yeah,
you know it.
Last show of the year, and only good things to come.
Yeah, big things coming for 2021. Let's go.
Yeah, speak that into existence for sure.
Yes, sir.
That's
yes,
wonderful.
sir.
Absolutely.
But yeah, We'll see
All
you
right,
guys
boys.
next week, and we're about to watch this game. So,
All right.
Yep.
You guys take care.
All right.
all right, guys.
Appreciate you having me on.
Love you, fellas.